small business owners say they are getting crushed by rising healthcare costs. And under Obama's plan, even the smallest businesses will either have to pay part of the premium or pay a penalty. The impact of the pay or play option could mean the difference between surviving and going under for some small businesses. So we're talking to a couple of owners right now with different opinions on it. Charles Lauster and Spencer Houldin join us live right now. Now, Charles, you're for the president's plan, right?
I am. When I started my business 25 years ago, paying health care for my people was like paying the phone bill. It was no big deal. Now it is a big deal. The rising premiums are really crushing us. And so something's got to stop that rise in premiums, and the president's plan will help that.
Do you have confidence in the government? I mean, we've looked at the Pacific Institute came out with some facts earlier this week, and they said over the last 40 years, when you look at the difference between Medicaid, Medicare, which is the government-operated health care fund, versus private health care, the government health care actually went up a third higher than private health care. So you've got confidence that the government's going to know what they're doing.
I do. I don't know anybody who really doesn't like Medicare. Everybody seems to like Medicare.
Well, they like it, but is it effectively run?
Well, it seems to be more effectively run than the insurance companies.
All right, Spencer.
Well, Medicare is broke. I mean, we know that. The government hasn't proven that they can run anything efficiently. There are so many things we can do right now within the private market that can make health care more efficient. But if we think that the federal government taking over health care is going to actually provide us a better solution than we have today, I mean, let's look at fraud right now instead of Medicare.
Sure.
$60 billion a year in fraud. Let's try to clean that up.
Spencer, let me ask you this. If this goes through, we don't have a lot of details. You're going to have to make changes with your business?
Well, what I'm most concerned about is also my clients who are small businesses. I run a small insurance agency up in Connecticut. And when we look at those small businesses and the changes that they're going to need to make and the taxes that are going to be implemented onto small business and the mandates that they're going to be given to small business to have to supply health insurance, they can't afford it, especially in this economy.
Charles, how do you think we should pay for this? Because there are a couple of plans out there. One would have people who make more than $280,000 a year pay more. The president likes the idea of reducing charitable deductions for our most successful Americans. How would you like to pay for it?
I believe we should all play by the same rules. And I pay for my workers' health care. The guy down the hall doesn't. And so my premiums are reflected in the fact that his workers, when they go to the hospital, I'm in fact paying for it.
Why doesn't that guy down the hall pay for his employees?
That's his problem. And it's his relationship with his employees. But I would much rather have all of us in business pay our equal share and just have a level playing field. The idea that it's not is simply not American.
All right, Charles and Spencer, we're going to continue the conversation regarding things that involve small business, because today the minimum wage goes up across America, but will it cost Americans jobs, and can small business owners like these guys afford to keep employees at the new rates? We will debate that straight ahead. The federal government is imposing a new minimum wage hike that takes effect today, up about 70 cents per hour. It could mean more unemployment, though, the experts say, on top of the 3.4 million jobs already lost in the first half of the year. Can the job market handle it? We're back with small business owners Charles Lauster and Spencer Houldin. All right. Charles, you're in the construction business. You do have some minimum wage employees. They're going to get a wage increase. They're getting a raise today, 70 cents an hour for the people at that end of your food chain. As a small businessman, how's it going to impact you?
Well, I don't have employees make minimum wage. I'm an architect, but I'm in the construction business, and so I'm dealing with people at that level frequently. The minimum wage has been around since the Great Depression. It's part of the safety net, that like Social Security. When President Bush signed this raise into, I think it was 2007, this is part of catching up and keeping that part of the safety net together. The impact on people who receive that money will be great, because they can now get some more money and put that back into the economy. That's a good thing. The fact that it is a fairly small number of people who are actually working at the minimum wage. So the loss of jobs, I think, is being way overstated here.
Although we just had somebody, Spencer, from the American Enterprise Institute say that the last time things went up $1 last year, millions of jobs were lost, and there is a potential for millions more to be lost this time around.
Well, that's exactly right. And I look at business owners that I know and the margins that they're working on. And right now, margins are very slow. The economy is very poor. When we look back from January 2007 and we see the minimum wage has gone up 40% and federal unemployment taxes have gone up over 100%, I mean, we have to cry uncle eventually. Small businesses cannot afford all of these government mandates. It's just going to crush small businesses.
And Charles, you're an architect working with construction firms and stuff like that. Ultimately, the construction firms that do have the minimum wage employees, they're going to have to pass the cost on to whoever is owning the building that they are building.
Compared to the cost of concrete and steel, this is nothing. I mean, let's be serious.
It's something like $28 per week.
We're talking about the people, non-union guys and non-union jobs who are basically the laborers who are moving things around, sweeping up.
Sure.
This is not a big part of the construction budget, not compared to steel and concrete.
Okay, Spencer, final word.
Unfortunately, it has to be passed on to the consumer eventually.
Yeah.
And the consumer, at the end of the day, is the one that's going to suffer from this increase.
All right, Charles Loster, the president of Charles Loster Architects, and Spencer Houldin, the president of Erickson Insurance Services. We thank you both for joining us live.
Thank you.